about user and what happens in service-based companies. So like in product-based companies, you have to understand what your product is doing and where your product is lagging behind, what else you can do to enhance the experience of your users, basically. So but as far as I know, in service-based companies it is a bit less, because you are behind the wall kind of. So that's one difference which I'm aware of, I would say.
Well, that's amazing. I think just a quick check for the people. We are also live right now, guys. So please turn on your cameras because the further discussions that we are going to have, that will be also seen by the people who are joining us live on our LinkedIn and YouTube channel. And yeah, thank you for your take, Rajiv. So just a quick question before we, get on with the other person. You've been
Mhm.
working with a product company for a while. So if someone is starting off with product-based companies, and right,
Mhm.
what would be your takeaway or advice for the people to crack their way into the product-based company? So, what are the major things or traits or any skills that you would recommend for them to have so that they could have a curve that is worth a career growth
Yeah.
which is like really amazing on the front
So until like not until, so basically till now what I learned is, for product based companies you have to understand what exactly your users want. So I mean, like obviously there are requirements in technical sectors as well, so you have to know oops and the problem solving things, but you can learn those things. That's not a problem. The problem is like most of the developers, like even the freshers to whom I usually talk about, so like they lag behind in terms of understanding the product or understanding the demand of the users. So for product companies you have to understand what you are providing, what your user is expecting. So this is one of the important thing which is required in product based companies. Otherwise, obviously, if you don't understand these things, then you gonna end up like a normal developer in your company. I mean, that's not a bad thing. Obviously, that's not a bad thing. But yeah, for growing forward and like for a better growth, if you can understand those things well, so what is the benefit of understanding those things is that you can provide more feedback to your team, or like you can provide more inputs from your side to the team, what we can build and how can we build, or like what we can prioritize, or what we should deliver first and deliver later on.
That's good.
So, what are the major challenges that you see, people are missing out on when they're getting and working through the product-based companies, and then they're struggling their way through surviving to the market or with the companies that they're working with? Any major
Yeah.
challenge that you found yourself uh, dealing with, or anything in common that you've seen your colleagues or maybe got to hear from your teammate that this is something that usually like people have a challenge.
Yeah, one thing like I just want to focus on is that like we developers, like obviously I can say we are kind of nerds or geekies. So we end up in like too deep in technical things. So okay, React versus Angular, or this versus this, blah blah. And instead of focusing on like solving problems and like learning things to solve problems, we end up into deep technical things. So that's one problem which most of us face right now, uh, according to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, so for that, let's like take an advice from Tejas or Dikshit. So Tejas, so what would be your advice for a challenge like this? Because I think you really have a strong opinion on product-based companies and also service-based company, right? So for the challenge that here Rajiv has been mentioning, so what would be a better way to handle something like this?
So, Anjum, is it okay that like this time I go in the end because I am really keen to understand the views of all the other guys
Yeah, yeah,
because all
sure.
the other guys seem to be very energetic and new.
Yeah,
So let me hear them out and then
yeah.
maybe I can summarize. Yeah.
Okay, I think that would be great. I think we have Kirti after a long time. Kirti, do you have any a take on the same thing that Rajiv has mentioned, like you're working with a product or service-based company, or what are your challenges with the same thing?
Well, I'm working in a service-based company right now. So, and I think like in service-based company, mostly things depends on the clients and
Mhm.
project. So clients, what happens like you want to give a suggestion and client does not, accept. So in that things, I think better is product is like there you start working on a one product and you build that from scratch to the and you know that how many users you are like for how many users you are making this project and for reason. But in service based company, I think that there is a bit less opinionate. Like you don't they don't ask that what will be better for you or how you can build a better project, but they just go in a way. Like right now, in my case, that happens. Like whenever I start a project in a service based company, so they don't ask much opinion. They just start, give you work and they assign you the task and you need to complete it. But yeah, I also want to switch to product based. Want to have that experience that how product based are do their work and how they actually build their product from scratch to for many users.
So, with your experience as working in the service-based company, Kirti, so what are your challenges that you face when it comes to that, and how has been the learning opportunity has been for you? And if you had a chance to switch to the other spectrum of the same discussion, like maybe a product-based company, if you could have been working for, so would you do the same thing from your experience now that you've been working with a service-based company, or how is it like from your side of experience working in the service-based company?
Like like in my case, like in my in my company. So let's say it depends mostly on the project. There will be different projects, and you will be assigned to different projects. So it depends on what kind of product project you are working on. So like there can be managers and they will assign a task or not. And in like and I don't think like at first if I'm working in a service based company and we are actually working on any other person's product. So I think that there is a one issue that they don't actually uh, focus on the quality. They focus on quantity, like how much work
Mhm.
they have provided and delivered. So,
Mhm.
they don't actually go for the quality. But in product, there's a, you have your own product. You want to enhance it to the best level
Mhm.
because you
Yep.
want to be competitive to the market and other things. That how you can enhance. You will build that feature from scratch, and then you go to then how much best we can do. So I don't think that I think in service based we lack that thing, as per my perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. And so going forward, Kirti, from your experience, I know this is, solely being from your perspective. What is your take on what is going to, get a little higher demand going forward? Let's say 3, 4 years down the line, when you see technology changing, people changing and shifting to different categories, right? From the day you started and right now when you're working in the service-based company, and what do you think how the future of the service-based company is going to evolve forward? Like, do you have any take on that or any idea if you have read anything around the same lines? Yeah.
Like I don't know about the service based company, like how this is gonna affect, but I know that like technology changes uh, just like the change is constant in IT service in every services. But here in IT, the change is very high level. Sometimes some people go for artificial intelligence. Some people think that yeah, web development is going to be very high, and some things like, but all things depends on how you are going to tackle these changes.
Yeah.
The main thing will be your fundamentals of how you will solve a real time problem. IT
Yeah.
is based on problem solving skills. Like you see a problem in in your area. There is some problem that somebody, like say Uber has, they have seen the situation that you are not getting a cab, so they build a system where you can call a cab, right? So that's how
Yeah.
they will see any problem, and they will build a solution for that. That's what IT is like. There will be many problems in the areas, and you will solve that by your fundamental skills and problem solving skills. It does not matter
Mhm.
technology you will use. You will get used to it in 3-4 months. There will be there can be GPT can come, but nobody can compete with the human mind, because they they have built chat GPT, right? So I think that the problem solving skills, and that will help you in every situation.
Yep, yep. I think that's a really good take on from the experience, and we have seen how it is actually evolving going forward. And tomorrow we are also having a discussion on the future of front end. And I was just having a dialogue with the speakers, and they were just like we were discussing about the questions that we need to talk for the tomorrow's panel discussion. And even the Chat GPT, no code, low code is also something we were discussing, and that's something that I guess would really evolve going forward, and also be something the new normal going forward, right? So yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Kirti. And I think we have Dixit too. Yeah, hi Dixit.
Yep. Hi, hello. How are you guys?
Yeah, Dixit, your voice is little low. Can you just
So,
try speaking a little louder?
hello. Now it's audible, like clear?
Yeah, now it is audible. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Dixit,
Uh,
before diving into the topic, I just want to know your experience of either of it. How did you start it, and did
sorry,
you
sorry,
have a both
sorry.
of it?
I have to go to another call. Sorry. I will
Okay,
be giving like last. Okay, I will be at the last.
okay, okay, sure. Okay, I think Harsh is actually in the college right now. And then I think we can go with Sohan. Sohan, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Sohan,
Yeah,
so before like diving into the discussion of this, can you
yeah,
let us give a brief of which thing and did you work with a product-based company or the service-based company, and how was your experience in general, just to like, set the base context for the next questions?
yeah. So I worked with both companies actually. So I started with service based and now moved to semi-product based company, but which is because though I'm working on a client side project, so I'm not working in a core product as in product based company. So as a you are discussing as we are discussing about service based, I think the work culture in service base is not that much great as in product base, because what
Mm-hmm.
happened, we as a developer, everybody thinks that we have to complete things on time. That is the
Hmm.
only things in service base they care about most of the
Hmm.
time. But
Yeah.
in the product side, they lot of things that take care, like the as somebody as Kirti said that it is not about it is about quality, not about quantity. So that is
Yeah.
the core thing I would say in product base, because lot of as I working with as I'm seeing that product is also evolving. So
Mm-hmm.
the thing is like we are looking on the very minute details, like if we like in the terms of performance of our product, so that is not taken care in service base. As we want to just deliver that product to our client and just make our work. So that is a one big difference I see in both.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, Sohan, Let's come with the very beginning, like the very initial part of it. You've been
Mm.
working with both of service and product-based company, right? So which one do you think is harder to crack? So which has a little harder entry barrier? And for the people who are trying to switch, or for the people who are starting their careers for the first time, right? From your experience of working with both of them, how's the interview process and how hard is it for, cracking either of it? So should you be differently prepared for either of it, or is the same thing, or is it the same projects that you've been working on, or same languages and frameworks that actually takes what it takes to crack an interview through any of these? So how's the entry barrier, and how's the projects and the frameworks or languages that differ with both of these when it comes to the interview process?
Yeah, so actually in service base, I would say like we uh, means we just need to understand the tech only. So if you are learning some, let's say React, so you just need to do some good stuff with React and how it's working. Just that all you need to understand. But in case of product base, you just don't have to understand the React, but understand why it is working like that. So you have to understand the problem solving skill for product base. That is the most uh, demand topic to enter in the product side companies. So in the times of the interview also, the interviewer will look into your problem solving skill when you are entering in a product based companies. Because the thing is, in product side, I would say that we have to develop new things. So we have to train our mind, or we have to cultivate our mind in a such a way that it should we have to give the best solution to our users and our in comparative to our competitors also. So
Yeah.
that's what the big difference means while entering in the product base. So you should understand the problem solving in a very efficient way, and understand why this is working and how this is working. So that
Yeah.
is the I would say
Yeah.
required.
So besides that, do you recommend any particular languages or frameworks for people to be well versed to crack their way through either of it? Let's say, if you could help me understand when you crack a product based company, right? For the front end developer you are, what are the languages and frameworks that you should be well versed of, or is it the same? Will that help you to crack with the service based company interviews also, or is it different? Rather than the problem solving has a differentiator, do we have any differentiator besides that?
Yeah, means we have to create our portfolio to enter in good product based company. So I would say one should make his portfolio very great. Besides that, he can just do open source contribution. That is the one thing I would say. In service based, these things are not taken care of while taking an interview or while shortlisting you for the interview. They just see what you know, and how you know, means they just check your certifications and these things. In big MNCs, I would say. In small, I don't know. But if you want to enter in product based company, you should have you should have a good knowledge of the latest
Mhm.
trend in market that are going on.
Mhm.
Like in React, if you say that there is a Next.js framework is there, but besides
Mhm.
Next.js, there is a Remix also there. So you
Mhm.
should know these things which are there in market, that how these things are going to, how the future of these things will be, and how we can means if you interview ask you about your portfolio projects, then you should explain you should be able to explain him how this project can be evolved, or how new features will be added to it. So these things should you take in consideration while entering products.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So just
Uh,
a key
so,
takeaways. Yeah, yeah, Raji.
Can I add up to that?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
sure, sure. Yep.
So basically for the tech stack or the technologies which we were talking about. So the thing is for especially for freshers or like beginners. So the thing is if you are trying to get into product-based companies, so
Mhm.
we use like as a developer we tend to learn everything about a framework or a library you would say. So suppose for
Mhm.
example we learn React. Okay,
Mhm.
and so sometimes as a fresher or beginner we try to get too deep into React. We want to learn everything, for example how's memo works, how's the like the DOM manipulation works behind the scene, all those things. But the thing
Mhm.
is in product based companies, so sometimes what happens is you might need to work in plain JavaScript. Okay, sometimes you have to work in like maybe Next.js. Okay, but yeah, Next.js is related to React, but my point is you might need to work in another tech stack which is not related to what you have spent most of your time to learn. Okay,
Yeah.
so the thing is you have to understand the fundamentals and you have to know how to solve a problem. Okay,
Hmm.
because in product based companies we try to solve the problem like as
Mhm.
smoothly as we can. But
Yeah.
for service based companies what happens is like obviously service based companies are are very large, so
Mhm.
they can hire a person for a specific skill set. So suppose if like or suppose I'm running a service based company. Okay, and for a client, suppose my client demanded to make something from D3JS, if
Mhm.
anyone's aware, so making canvas and all that. So
Yeah.
if one of my like any of my developer is not aware of D3 or like not that much known about that, so I
Yeah.
can hire someone specialist in that just for that specific purpose,
Yeah.
right? But in
Yeah.
product based companies what happens is you have to like we obviously there's limitation on budget as well in product based companies.
Mhm.
So we tend to like solve the problem in the available developers. So that's the
Mhm.
thing about tech stack I just wanted to add.
Yep. Yep.
This is the most with the startups only, I would say. I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
even
in
so
Google or
no, yeah,
Amazon.
they
It might be
mhm.
not going with the case, I guess.
Yeah, so even in Google and Amazon, you would be a part of a team, right? So
Hmm.
one team works on a suppose a feature of a product, right? Specific
Hmm.
feature of a product. Then that team is responsible for all of the things. So you like even in Google, you can't hire only single people if sometime you need only a specific skill, right? So even from Google, if like I haven't talked much about or talked much enough to any Google or like large and drug-based companies, but as far as I know, they also work on different subsets of skills, right? Sometimes they work on front end, sometimes they work on back end. Even in if someone is front end developer, they sometimes work on the browser things, or they even sometimes they have to make extensions as well, like Chrome or like the browser extensions, which is obviously not part of React and JavaScript. That's a different thing.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So that's one thing which is
Yeah.
also you should consider.
Yep. Yep. And adding to the same thing, Rajiv, when we are like, having a conversation about the product-based company, right? So there are two type of product-based company. One, the one which is startup, and the one that is a product-based MNC, right? So what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on, when it comes to the projects and the way the work is done in either of this? So how is it really different, or is it the way your approach is different, or how is the workload, how's the opportunities, how's the learning curve in both of them? Because what
So
startup could provide is different than what MNC could provide, right? And when we are talking about the product-based company, how different would that be when it also, when you come across the projects or you come across the resources, when you come across the opportunities and going forward, something around that. Yeah.
So yeah, I can tell you that differentiate pretty well. Cause initially, for initial 1.5 years of my career, I was in a startup. So the tech team was too small, like too small. I would say two people in front end and two people in back end. So that was pretty small. So in startups, you have to know what things you have to prioritize. Okay, you can't just okay. So suppose you are working on a feature and then you like build that feature, then after building you realized, okay, I can optimize this more in terms of performance or like memory consumption. But then in startup, what the thing is, they are very fast paced, so you have
Yeah.
to keep delivering features as soon as possible. Okay, you
Yeah.
can't let your users wait. And even in startups, the number of startups are too large in lower range, I would say. So there
Yeah.
are many startups which are competing, and you have to keep moving forward. So you can't
Yeah.
keep on increasing some small minute things. Okay, so
Yeah.
you have to, like, you should know, you have to reach from 0% to 60% as soon as possible. That's the thing.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
but then after 1.5 years, like later 1.5 years, I worked in an MNC company where I am
Mm-hmm.
currently working. So it is quite a big company. So there are around 50 or 60 people in tech.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a large. Even in my team, there are 7 people. So in big companies, the difference comes in the build process. So there is a
Mm-hmm.
complete process which you have to go through, and there are set of responsibilities you have. Okay, so suppose you want something, then you have to talk to product guys, and if you want something from kind of build and dev tools, then you have to talk to DevOps. So this
Yeah.
is a set of process, and even the bandwidth which you have is quite good as compared to startups.
Yeah.
So even if you want to try something or like experiment something which could enhance the user experience or which could enhance the product quality, you can get that time pretty easily as compared to startups. So that's one major difference there is.
Yeah. So I've actually, seeing the comments of our LinkedIn Live where everyone are like, product company is great with the learning curve, and if you want to like, have a good learning curve, maybe at the initial stage, or maybe to upskill from their product company is really great to, go with. Do you really agree with that point, or do you have any contradiction? So this is an open question for anyone who wants to add to this point. So is it actually what, besides the learning part of it, what other thing that you think the product company or working for something like that would help you gain any skill over? Besides the learning thing, what's something that you think a product company provides you with? Maybe it's the opportunity, maybe it's
So
the pay, or anything in general.
yeah, I'll go first. So the thing in general thing which a product company teaches, like personally I would speak is the problem solving skills. So not just in tech way, even if in real life as well, it teaches to optimize your lifestyle, your workflow, or anything what is needed or what is not needed, all those things. So as even Katie was saying, you in service based companies, you are behind a wall, which is the client,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
client knows everything, and they just tells you to do something, like just like we need something, we need this thing and this thing. But this doesn't happen in product based company, right? Here you have to understand, you have to like think, like you have to put yourself in user's shoes. So you have to change your perspective from engineer to user. What
Yeah.
else you can do? So like that's a different thing from learning,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
which is
Got it.
which one of the important things I learned till now.
Yeah. Any take on this, Sohan?
Yeah, this is pretty accurate that Raju said. This one should this in service base, we generally think like we have to complete our target that are given to us, and we have to means whatever the client will say, that is the best thing that we have to deliver. That's one. That's how we think in service base. But if you are in product based, that Raju said is correct. You have to you have to think in that way, but in the perspective of a user, to
Yeah.
understand our how we can grow our product in a better way, and how
Mm-hmm.
well we can provide the user more UI experience or performance things, or uh, any new features that we want as a user. So that all thing can be viewed when you put yourself as a user, rather and as a developer also. As you are telling, like we get to lot things. I was developing one product, so we were integrating one of the chatting libraries, so it takes a lot time to increase our performance. So that was a great learning for me too. Means it was a financial project, so we integrated one trading view library. So it takes a long for us, but it was a it it was a very good learning experience for me. uh, and that is, as a developer, it was that is one good things with the product base, I would say.
Yep. 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 Well, that's actually a good point, guys. Thank you so much, Sohan and Raji. And let's go with Govind Rajan. And then I think I have a collective question regarding the product base itself. So, Govind, can you hear us?
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible. Yes. So before that, Govind, can you introduce yourself to us and please turn on your camera if you can?
Okay. So camera. I'm sorry. Like this is the first time I'm interviewing any kind of in-person events like this, so I'm not very comfortable with the video part. So I will just introduce myself. So sorry about that.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm a backend developer. I've been working as a backend developer for the past 5 years, and so like I'm working with like Java tech stack, some Spring Boot applications and stuff. That is a short introduction about me. So I want to dive into the question, I guess. Like so, first of all, I have like a different opinion, I guess. Like what do you classify as a product company and what you classify as a service company? So uh, like whoever is handling scale, like a larger customer base or something like that, they, in my opinion, they can classify as a product company, even though like uh, if you are even providing it as a service, like you are taking up development work or developing backend or any part of work. I think the scale is what differentiates between a service and a product. Because if you take any product usually the scales will be in millions of users. Even if you uh, take this live stream, like uh, uh, I don't know like how many people are watching live right now, but still it's not an easy task. Yes, it is technically challenging, but streaming it to 10 people is easier than streaming to thousands of users. Like even if you are watching some cricket matches, uh, like there are some blog posts where they have like million concurrent users or something like that. So that is hard stuff. Like if you are talking about that scaling is the hard stuff. So for me, I think that is what products means to me personally. uh, and uh, and companies who deal with massive scale, to me they are product based, I guess. Like I'm not sure, like I'm working in a service company as well. So but to me that is what it means to work at a product company, to handle that scale, because that scale introduces unique challenges. Because in service companies, if you know the domain you are working on, then I think the logic that needs to be implemented, the business logic that needs to be implemented is already there as a domain knowledge. So if you know the domain, then it will get easier in terms of implementing those stuff. But when you go to product, like these massive scales introduces new challenges which none of them have, and already predefined solutions or some predefined ideas to tackle. So uh, that is where your own problem solving, I think, comes in and plays a big role, because of the uncertainty of the problem and the complexity of the problem.
Yeah.
So I think the key differentiator is for me is this. And apart from that, like even if you are in service company, like you can try on some level, but one challenge I can see or I can add to being in a service company is sometimes you will be working on a legacy project where you might have to do some maintenance work, not building stuff from scratch, and you won't be able to see the impact, what impact you are having in the organization. So that is one challenge. But if you get a chance to work in a new project where you have to build things from scratch, I think that is also a good experience. So that will help, because if you are building from scratch, or you have to design stuff from scratch, and you have to you will learn a lot doing that, than doing maintenance work or bug fixing stuff or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that is where product companies provide a good opportunity, because they are also they are trying to build something new, something not existing in the market. That is related to domain some stuff. So
Yeah.
I think that is one of the key differences for me.
And coming to the scaling part, Govind, so you were saying that the more you work on the scalability of the product, then you understand what it takes to serve on a millions, rather than let's say a few hundreds of customers, right? And when it comes to service-based company, don't you think it's under the same thing where you're also like serving the millions of customers over there? But how do you think is the scalability different when it comes to the product and service-based company?
So I mean, it depends. That's what I'm saying. Even if you are working in a service-based company, the kind of project you are working on, if it serves a lot of people, then I think for me it can be considered as a product in terms of experience working as a product, a product instead of a service. So let's say, for example, I'm working for a client and he is having some huge customer base, like 1 lakh or 2 lakh people who is going to consume those services on a regular basis. So that can still be considered as a product, but even though that's not a massive scale, but still that is comparatively higher than having someone or some service that is being consumed by a one target client, like a specific client, where the concurrent users or daily active users is not greater. So that can be a service, but but even if the client who are developing to, if they have a huge customer base who is going to consume the services, that I think we can still have a product.
Okay. So before going with Tejas, I guess I have one collective question for everyone, which is, I think most of our discussions were around how product-based company is really providing you with the learning opportunity, and also the growth and the quality and the exposure of what you need and the transparency in all the projects, and how are you, where do you stand has an impact in the organization, right? So I think we have one live viewer who says his name is Avish, and he says, since product-based companies have their own product, the sustainability is high, and so is the learning curve. I think learning curve is something that we cannot argue over, which product-based company obviously provide you a lot. But coming to the sustainability is what I want to get your opinion on. Where if you see, most of the layoffs that are happening are from product-based companies, right? But you hardly hear some from the service-based company. So how sustainable you think your career or your learning or opportunities are in the product-based company? Hands down, they actually provide you with the best learning experience and everything that you could ask for as a developer. But when it comes to the sustainability and the market scenarios as of now, people are getting laid left and right, mostly in the product-based companies, which are on the higher percentage in today's scenario. So what's your take on the same? So this is an open-ended question. Anyone could answer. Rajan, Tejas, Dikshit, Kirti, Sohan, Govind. Yeah. Okay, I think I have to pick someone. Yeah, Govind.
Yeah.
Can you just
So
give me?
sustainability, I'm not sure. It depends on entirely the product and how it is, the product is fitting the market, product market.
Mhm.
So I don't know, when pandemic happened, like a lot of people, streaming services were in a huge demand. Like streaming services grow a lot.
Mhm.
They ended up, overhiring talent. Once that craze is gone, like all the layoffs you are seeing, half of the companies, they are saying like they are overhired, and they have hired because of the demand that is generated during the pandemic period.
Yeah.
So instead of I think in sustainability wise, instead of like trying to meet a shorter goal or something like that, if you focus on the long term, then that would be, I guess, that will be okay. That product will be able to sustain in the long term, instead of like going out of market or going out of business or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. What's your take, Rajiv? You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. So basically, even I'm also trying to understand how things are happening. So thing is, this is apart from tech, this is also a business decision, right? So product-based companies has some like budgets and users. Like even service-based has that constraints as well. But the thing is, you have to, for sustainability, what I have learned till now in any company, like even in like service based or a product, just a general thing is like what more value you are providing to your team. So doesn't matter whether you are a fresher, beginner, mid-level, senior. The thing is how much value you are providing or to your team or to your employee.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a key thing, not just not just from tech side, apart from tech side as well, like how you are contributing in like general discussions or like meetups or and all those things inside company. So because that also creates a culture or like environment. So suppose there are, just for example, there are two candidates. One is like too good in tech, like only in tech too good, like he is champion, and the another one is like average one, but he is kind of like collaborative and talks to people and try to think from other perspective as well. So obviously as a company, if company needs to choose one of those two, then most preferably, I'm not saying that all of the time, but most preferably try to select the developer who is kind of the first one who is average but trying to be collaborative and doing other things as well.
Yeah.
But it
Okay.
depends on business and companies as well, so there's no right or wrong thing according to me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. So, Han, what's your take on the same?
Yeah, actually, I means this is totally. I think it is depend on a company side, means on a business side, because if you are in a product-based company and that product is not as competitive as in market that other products are, so it will not be good product. Means it will hard to be with that product for the consumer, and means it will definitely lose the profit of the company, and it will affect all the things of the company. And if that product is too good and it is continuously evolving, then then it is the best company as a product based company to as a part of sustainability. And if you are in a service base, there is two sides also for it, because as there AI is coming, as we are all saying that technology is changing so fast. So for the
Yeah.
service-based company, they will have to provide different services like they are now providing. So they will means they have just in case of MNCs, they will have to hire those candidates which are compatible with the latest technology. So
Yeah.
that is, so they will not, there will not be any uh, sustainability issue with the service base who are big MNCs.
Yeah.
So I think that is one thing I could add to this.
Okay. Yeah. Dikshit, what are your point of view from the same thing?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for bearing me. Like I was going into like lots of meeting and coming back. Sorry for that. So there are like few aspects which I'm having in my mind for like product-based companies and service-based company. So initially my journey started with my brother's firm, which was like a smaller nominal service-based company type. Like we used to get some projects and we used to work on that. Then I
Yeah.
moved to a product-based company. So
Mhm.
in a product-based company, like I was working with a set of scenarios, set of requirement which we were solving. For each and every
Mhm.
product-based company, there is a problem that they are trying to solve with the
Mhm.
use of technology. That's the
Yeah.
base main agenda. So
Yeah.
how would you fit into that soup? That is the main problem. Like, okay, I'm having the knowledge of Node.js, Express, and blah blah blah. Okay, but how are you able to give your contribution to solve that problem? There is the main
Mhm.
thing for any developer to go into that product-based company. Now coming
Yeah.
to service-based company, I'm right now working with service-based company and I'm getting like the same opportunities. Like I'm having the same working skill sets, but I'm able to get like to solve number of problems with number of contributions. I'm having a conversation with lots of people and solving like problems which they are having in terms of like I'm working with majorly with Node.js right now, but I'm also
Mhm.
solving problems which are related to React. So that
Yeah.
is how I can give to a service-based company, and they
Yeah.
can get like more things from me, and I can gain like more experience from those kind of hurdles. So that is how like I think in product and service-based company, and this is like both of them are having like nice good pay grade and pay chips and all of the things, but you would be getting like a drive to gain like more and more to solve like complex problems that would be coming from product based company, whereas in a service based company it would be like a streamlined. Okay, I'm getting like problems, I'm solving, I'm giving like collaborations, and I'm also helping the world. So that is like from my point of view.
How about the sustainability? So,
So sustainability, I would be saying like on service-based company, it's a good thing because like if you are having like set of skills, okay, if you are having like immense tech skills and in like working with a project in a service-based company for a year, you have also add up another skill, say Dockers and say Kubernetes. You are also able to handle, then you might be able to get given an opportunity to work on to DevOps and a development task. So it would be the product-based company, the service-based company, which would be giving you that kind of opportunities. Whereas in product-based company, you won't be able to get like enhance those skill sets. So you would be staying into the same direction and you would be growing up with the same direction. So this is how like I would say.
okay, so if you have to recommend anything from your experience for someone who's, maybe starting it off or maybe trying to switch from either product or in the service-based company, so will that differ from which experience and which part of the professional journey they are in? Will that differ for people less than 5 years or more than 5 years?
It's
Something.
it's always depending upon the developer's drive. Like if I'm having a drive to like gain like more and more skills, I'd be staying with service-based company and improvising my each and every day. So if I'm getting a task from my client saying like, okay, you need to complete this kind of stuff within this amount of time, so I would be completing that thing. But I would be also asking my client to say, give me this amount of time so that I can improvise more and more thing on that one. And I would be giving like those things, and it would be helping me as well.
Yeah.
So that is how I would be taking that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Archit. And I think before going to Tejas, we'll go with Archit and Ram. So I think Archit has joined us before, but let's reconfirm if it's the same person. Archit, can you unmute yourself and introduce yourself for the people who are hearing you for the first time?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've joined for the first time actually.
Okay. There are a lot of Archits in our community. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Can you please turn on your camera and introduce yourself to us?
Yeah,
Like,
actually, but I
what you
am
do?
outside. I'm just going back home.
Okay, yeah. So a brief introduction, Archit. So what you've been working, your experience, which company, which part of the country you're from, your motivation of community, and what is your take behind the same thing before diving into the topic. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, my name is Archit Dadwal and I am from Dharamshala, Himachal Pradesh. And yeah, I've like around 2.5 years of experience. These days, I'm working as a front-end developer with a startup in New Delhi. And prior to this, I was working as a WordPress developer.
Okay. So Archit, with your 2.5 years of experience, was it with product or service-based company? And how was it? And how was your, journey if you've been working with any of them? So first of all, like, were you working with a product-based company or the service-based company?
It was kind of delivering services to the other people's product.
Okay. So let's consider that as a service-based company.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've been working with the same since the beginning, or did you transition between your journey of that?
No, this is my third company. For 1
Current
year,
company.
I've been one company, then for like 3-4 months, and now
Okay.
I'm working here.
So a service-based company, so I want to understand, Archit, from your experience. Let's say you said you've been working with startup, right? So service-based company in startup and service-based company in MNCs, how is that different? Let's say when you're talking about the MNC has a service-based company, right? And we're talking, let's say, we are not really tend to have the transparency over the entire project, or maybe everything that you want to learn from scratch, while you get the same opportunity in the product-based company. But when you're working with a startup, there's an exception that you know what is happening around. You get to understand what is the requirement, and you get to usually learn everything from the scratch, right? So how is it working with a service-based company on with a startup? And do you think it's really same or different when it comes to service as a MNC?
Yeah, I think it is definitely quite different from a big MNC because in startup you have limited resources. There are like few people on one project, but I think in MNCs, from what I have seen with my various friends and other people, there are like lot of people working on single project. You have like small tasks, but we don't have that thing. We have a lot of work, so that is a big difference, and that gives a good exposure. Also, you'll have what do you call that? Yeah, you will learn a lot of technologies, I guess, and a lot of new things while working in a startup, which you won't learn in an MNC, I guess.
Yeah. So let's say while the discussions are more inclining towards that the product company gives you more learning and opportunity for, upskilling you as a developer, we also have from your experience that startup has a service based can also give you the same. So do you think is there any difference between that? The learning curve while when compared to the product based company as a startup?
Can you please repeat your question? I didn't understand it.
Yeah, so I was saying mostly like other conversations are more inclined saying that product based company gives you more learning and greater chance of you to upskill, right? And the service based company are not prone to give you as much exposure. But now with your experience that to working as a startup and service based company, do you still agree to the same thing, or do you stick to the point key startup in a service based is actually on the same level of the product on a startup base? Will this provide the same learnings and experience, or is it different?
I can't say exactly, but yeah, it can be different because since product-based companies, what they are solving a problem, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
And for
Okay.
like service-based, they are not directly like solving a problem for a consumer. So, yeah.
Okay. So Archit, just a quick takeaway from your experience. How could anyone, drive their way through the service-based company, whether or not it's a startup? So what do you think any person should, be well versed with these, any characteristics of framework or languages so that could help them to, exceed their way into a service-based company? Like any major differentiator that would help them to get their way through, if something that they could learn early in their career if they're working with a service based company.
I think it depends upon the technology, which whatever technology you are working, you should be good with your foundations.
Yeah.
So like if you are working as a front-end developer, I think you should be well versed with JavaScript at least. And then you should learn a framework like React or something like that.
Yeah. So if you have to give an advice for people who are, maybe starting it off from their career or maybe switching to service-based company, do you have any experience or the, key advice that you could give it from your experience?
What should I say?
Or maybe let's say if you could change one thing that from your journey, let's say if you've been facing some major issue working with a service-based company and then later realized and worked your way through it, what was that challenge? Maybe let's highlight that would actually help people to have a takeaway from your experience, I guess. Yeah.
I think I've never worked in a product-based company, but while working on a product, I think it gives a feeling that you are actually solving a problem or you are building something which like some people are directly going to use or directly like they'll consume that thing. But for service-based company, it is not like that, I guess. It's quite different scenario.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I think Harsh is kind of getting bored. So, Harsh, do you have any questions from all the discussions you've been listening, right? So, you've been still studying, I guess you're in the college. So, do you have any questions for any of the folks who are actually sharing their experience, be it a product or service based? So, if you have any questions, I think we'd be more than happy to have people answer them.
Sure. Actually, I didn't have any question for a product-based company, but I didn't know about the service-based company and what scenario service-based company work. Do anyone know? Can
Like
explain?
scenario as of like that's a broader question. You just have to narrow down more. Which scenario has it?
We at which scenarios at service-based company work? Like a
So
like a
like
product-based company work on the solving the problems, and in that scenario, and on what scenario service-based companies work?
so like just like Harsh, are you trying to ask what is the difference between service based or product based, or like
Yes,
what?
yes, you can explain this difference.
Like Afsar, can I add?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, so like I can't tell enough differentiation because from beginning I was in product based, but the thing is in a nutshell, so service based companies is like a team of developers who they are providing services to other other people or like other companies, if you can say. So suppose like Harsh, you have a company and you have hired 50 developers, and now you are providing services of those 50 developers to other companies, right? But in product based company is like you have a product and you are building it, improving it, upgrading it. So that's the thing.
Okay.
Like that's a one major difference, like a rough difference, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I can add, if I can add like something. So the simple difference is like in product based company you have like a grooming team. Like you would be always increasing like team members to solve the same problem. Okay, But in service-based company, you would be having like multiple teams would be focusing on to a smaller chunks. Okay, so if you have like say developments, then you would be having like front end and back end. There would be a different teams, and they would be working and fighting around each other. Okay, then there would be other team for the DevOps, like they would be handling like all of them, like making sure like, okay, these people are getting like this thing and these people are getting like this thing. So this is how like there would be like a complete team collaboration, and you would be able to see like multiple teams are fighting to solve that complete service. So that is like the main thing which happens in service-based and a product-based company.
Okay, so I think for learning purpose, product-based company is good.
Yeah, it's like always both of the companies are like having they both give you like lots of things to learn.
Okay.
It would be like you how you want to go for a more sustainable period. So
Yeah.
it would be on that.
Even even in there's no complete segregation, like complete line between, okay, this one is product based and this one is service based. So this segregation fades away sometimes as well. So one company can be product based and service based as well at the same time. So there is no complete or complete differentiation between these two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I
Thank
hope that was answered. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Ram Manohar. Ram, can you hear us?
Mm.
I think if you're talking, we are not able to hear you. I think he's having problem with his microphone. Okay, finally, Tejas, think we are left with you. I think let Ram reconnect if he'll be able to speak again. Ram, if you're hearing us, we are not able to hear you. If you're trying to speak, please try reconnecting your microphone. Yeah. And let us know once you're like good to go with interacting with us. Yeah. So yeah, Tejas, from your experience of 16 plus of in the development world, and now you've been running in a company which is a service-based company, right? The company that you are actually running. So yeah. So I want to understand how was your experience in both product and service-based company. Let's start with the entry barriers. How do they differ from a developer's point of view, and then let's come to the pay of it, and then let's come to the opportunities and the way forward and the sustainability. And when you started a company, why did you choose a service-based company and not a product-based? So yeah.
Yep. So basically, there's no absolute answer to all your questions because everything is variable and everything is applicable to the other party as well. For example, so whatever technical points all these guys said, like Rajiv had some, Sohan had some, Govind Raj had some. So all these points, for example, Govind Raj was talking about scalability. Yeah. Then Rajiv also talked about learning curve. Yeah. So actually, these points are valid for both kind of companies. It depends on which company you land in. Yeah. For example, because I've seen companies like TCS myself, and I can say many people are there for the sake of time pass. They don't even learn. Yeah. So, but the people who want to learn, they learn it. So it is one's own perspective of being in that company that matters. Yeah? Also, in the product companies, there are like lazy people who will just try to steer the days without delivering anything and then wait for them to get fired. So people like that, they are in both the industry. So you cannot say that this is for product and this is for service. Now let me take you one level above all this superficial discussion. So first of all, you have to sit and think what you want. Yeah, what you want after 5 years, what you want after 10 years, what you want after 15 years. These are the kind of questions you need to start asking yourself. Yeah, before planning anything or before doing anything or before even thinking of product versus service. So let's say if your aim is I'm just giving example. if your aim is to settle in US, so that is one of the dreams of my dear friend Dixit over here. So uh, to achieve that dream, what he needs to do, he'll follow that path. If he thinks that this is easily achieved through a service-based company, let he'll try and join some service-based company. I'll again give an example of TCS, and every year TCS sends around 20,000 people to US. Okay, so he might think, okay, this is good for me because I can be one of those 20,000 people, and I'll go to US. Now, another person who might say that, okay, I want to learn a product development cycle and then ultimately create my own product because I've got some ideas or I keep on getting my own ideas. So I want to learn all that product development life cycle. And then let's say after 5 years, I want to start my own company. Yeah. So for him, maybe a product company could be a better choice. But if you talk about things like pay, it doesn't matter because you'll have companies like Wipro who are paying you basic salary, and then you have companies like ThoughtWorks who are paying you top notch. Yeah, you have companies like Recro who can pay you very well. Yeah, so again, all these are examples of service-based company, and yet there is such a huge difference between what they pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same is true with product companies. So if you join some small product company who is surviving with 5 developers, they'll pay you less. I've seen people working with 20,000 salary. Yeah. And then you have companies like Microsoft who will pay you maybe 30 lakh plus, or you have companies like Razorpay who will pay you 30 lakh plus. So there's a big variation everywhere in service-based or product-based. So let's go beyond that superficial level and think about your own perspective. Yeah. So any person, it might be Dixit or it might be Raju or it might be Hafsa. They don't work for company, they work for themselves. Okay. What they are trying to build is they are trying to build their own career. They are not there to build a product for, let's say, Amazon.
Yeah.
If Amazon builds a great product, or even if they build a low caliber product, these guys are more concerned about how they grow in that company, or how they make their own career, or how they achieve their goal that they have set after, let's say, 5 years or 10 years or 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So one needs to be trying to figure out their own goals. Maybe let's say we have got Harsh over here and he has no clarity about what he wants to do after 5 years. Fine. Let's get into this industry, any company, product, service, doesn't matter. And then slowly you will figure out. Maybe you will take 3 years, 4 years, 5 years just to figure out. But the main thing is to try to figure out. If you are not even trying to figure out, then I think you are wasting your time. Yeah, you're not building a career. You are just surviving in the industry. And if you just want to survive, there is nothing wrong. Yeah, it might be the case that you are giving more importance to your family. Yeah, it might be the case that you have 4 kids, and your priority is your kids. Your priority is not your job. That is fine. But you need to be clear in your mind what my priority is and what my goal is. Yeah. So if you have clarity about that, good. If you don't have clarity about that, let's get on to a path which will give you that clarity. Yeah. Like the other day I was talking to Archit and I asked him like, what is your next goal? Do you want to move to Bangalore? Or what will encourage you to move to Bangalore? And then he answered me his own preferences. But the thing is that you have to build those own preferences. It is a process. It is not like overnight thing. So again, coming back to the product versus service, debate. I would just say that if your goal is to go abroad, and go abroad would have 2 scenarios. One is just you want to see the world and just be happy and then earn some money, come back to India, and then maybe retire early or retire peacefully. Or second way could be like what Dixit is saying, most of the family is in US, so he would prefer going to US and then rejoin the family. So people do go abroad and just settle over there because they have their own reasons. Okay, so that could be easily achieved through a service-based company, and then uh, even if that job is paying pretty less, let's say Wipro is paying pretty less in India, maybe a starter salary of 3 lakhs. But once that guy gets a 3 or 4 years experience and he's sent to US or XYZ country, and then suddenly he starts earning 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs, because he's earning in dollars or euros or pounds. Yeah. So that parity of salary between product and service, that is no longer value. Yeah. But again, on the other side, if people just want to learn that product life cycle and then do something of their own, maybe product company is a better choice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions for what they just explained, like any contradicting takes on the same? Achit, Rajiv, Sohan, Govind. Or do you want to ask any questions adding to what he actually just mentioned? Not you can just like feel free to say. Yeah, Rajiv.
So like there is nothing in like contradicting or something. So like they just said is right on point. So in the like end of the day, it comes to you what you actually want and what is your motivation and what your goals are. So it doesn't matter whether you are in a low paying job or like high paying job, or like you are in a service based or product based. In the end of the
Yeah.
day is what your goals are. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. So as they just explained it very well. So you shouldn't choose product or service based on what other people are saying. You should
Mhm.
choose on what your goals are and what you are
Yeah.
planning. So
Yeah.
that was actually right on point.
Yeah. Yeah. And Ram, can you hear us now? I think Ram is just trying to be an audience over here. Okay. Well, that's for the whole topic, guys. I think we are almost at the end of the session. But before that, do you guys have any questions for each other or to anything that anyone has actually shared right now? Okay.
So I have a red alert for everyone, like for the guys in the meeting or guys who will be watching this on LinkedIn afterwards. Is many people on LinkedIn or Twitter, they are selling DSA and Algo, and telling you that if you do this, you'll get into FANG companies. Okay. So basically, be aware they are selling their own product. Yeah, they are making money when they sell their course, or it is some kind of affiliate marketing, or they are, telling you to go and join some course because they are getting some commission over it. Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. But we have to understand the hidden agenda, why these are, because they are using the FANG company, the brand name, to do their own stuff. Yeah? So
Yeah.
even there was one guy on our community who was trying to post that if you want to get into FANG or MANG, whatever, DM me, I'll redirect you to a mentor. I said, who is that mentor? And he said that he's a teacher at Newton School. So basically, uh, what they're trying to sell is their own thing. Yeah, they're selling you a dream, basically. So be aware of all those people. And then I will tell you, DSA and Algo is not for everyone. Yeah. So if you have the potential, you could have cracked IIT after 12th. But since you knew that IIT is not for you, then you went to engineering or you went to other kind of courses because you knew your thing. Now that same logic applicable at the job level as well. Suddenly you say that, okay, I've got 2 years of experience, I want to crack Microsoft. Maybe that is possible, but you would know with your previous history of learnings and whatever you have achieved academically, that if it is possible or not. And then you have to work out a plan. If it is possible, I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4 to achieve that. If it is not possible, let me take my own time. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
you could find a better company, maybe Recro, and then you will forget about Microsoft. So things like that happen. So all the young guys like Harsh we have got, be aware of all the scams on LinkedIn, and just be what you can say, mindful. Have your own thinking on top of whatever you read in social media. Try to process the thing. Talk to mentors. That helps, and then choose the right path.
Yeah. I think Dikshit also had something to say. Yeah, Dikshit.
Yeah, there was a point like Tejas told about like the Newton school. Tejas, I got like multiple times the same thing. Okay. And I told like, okay, I'm hearing, and then I drop the call every now and then. So
Yeah.
it comes up like it's a bumpy ride. And for every developer, like you have to choose your own path. Like a simple way is like if you want to
Mhm.
achieve something, you have to like derive your own goal, you have to derive your own path and work onto
Yeah.
that path. That roadmap would be helping you to go to that company. If you are targeting for like say, I am targeting for Amazon in US. Okay. So my main point would be like what Amazon wants from me and how I would be giving to Amazon those things.
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm targeting like for 2 years, okay, in that 2 years I would be improvising my skill set into that point that whenever I go and give my resume to Amazon, it would be readily accepting my resume as well as me for that position. So I should
Yeah.
be making myself well versed to that thing.
Yep. Yep.
Right. And
So
also,
like
Yeah.
Hafsa was asking me why did I launch a consulting company instead of a product company? Yeah.
Yeah, just no, I didn't
So
say consulting. I said what made you choose to launch a company in that category? Like
yeah,
any reason?
I played with my strengths. So I had strength in
Hmm.
consulting. So I played with that. And
Yeah.
interestingly, that opened the doors for a couple of product-based companies where I started consulting, and
Yeah.
eventually I ended up investing in those products.
Hmm.
So now the journey from the investing, from this the consulting phase has grown into being like a Shark Tank kind of a person for the product-based companies. So you
Hmm.
you you cannot undermine the power of consulting or consulting-based companies. Or you just need to keep your eyes open
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we see how you can make the most of whatever you have.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yes. Yes. I think
so
Ram.
like
Yeah. Yes.
yeah. Uh, So, like adding to Dikshit's statement, so I also used to get a lot of calls from like I don't want to take any specific name, but more than couple of companies used to call and they will say like, okay, you'll need 6 months or 4 months of preparation and you'll crack this or that. So like it's something is like they are selling as they said their dream. So it's kind of a chit fund. So it could work for like 1 in 100 people or two, but it would not work for like rest of the people, right? So
Hmm.
it's totally variable and up to the person who is trying to like crack Fang or Mang.
Hmm.
So obviously it's up to the people, how up to the candidate how he is preparing or what he is learning, how is he learning. Obviously direction is important, but the time frame or like the uh, I would say the mainly the time frame. Sometimes we as a developer while learning these things get into pressure as well. Okay, like they say that in 6 months you can crack Fang, but it's been 10 months and I couldn't able to do this thing. So obviously this creates a pressure, but yeah, that's a completely marketing thing.
Yeah.
That's why I told like don't go into that kind of things. Like always be clear with your stuff. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm able to spend like 8 hours on my work, and then I'm able to spend like 4 hours on extra co-curricular activities. I would be spending my 4 hours on a perfect way, on my pace, not on that highway pace. Like, okay, I have to go on to a
exactly.
very high speed and
Hmm.
go on giving out something and something. Okay.
Right, right,
Right.
right.
And
So
always like and then there is one more thing, like always ask question to the people whom you like feel like, okay, I'm having a question, like I always go to Tejas, like say, okay Tejas, just give me this help, And he would be suggesting, okay, what do you want? And I would be saying, okay, I need this thing. And he would be giving me that thing like, okay, you should be going to this kind of way. This is the direction. You have to find out now. And I'm able to solve like this problem as well with his advice. So that is how it goes. Like if I can ask to Tejas, then I can ask to Hafsa, and I can also ask to hers as well. So there is no issue with me. But as a developer, you should be asking questions. So
Yeah.
it is a best practice for a developer.
Yes. Yeah.
It might be getting late for you guys on a Friday evening.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a Friday evening. I know already
Yes.
logged up.
Yeah.
Yep. So before that, any question, guys? Ram actually typed something. He said, cheat sheet for man companies. Join this masterclass to know how to crack interviews of Microsoft in a month. Yeah, that's probably you come across.
The promo.
Yep. Okay, guys. So that was a great conversation, and I'm really glad that each one of you kind of contributed your experience, and that's something that we really look forward to, right? So, be it 0 or 1, 2, or any number of experience that you hold in your professional career, it's really important for you to come out and give your learnings, because that's something that matters at the end of the day. And do connect with other folks over here. You did interact with them, Govind and Sohan and Ram, if you're joining us for the first time, and Harsh. You can connect with Rajiv, Dikshit, Tejas, Archit, and connect with them on a personal level. And the main aim of this community is to help you upskill, and be it anything that you're facing problem, and feel free to connect other people, or there are various channels that we created to cater on your specific problems or challenges that we could help you out with. So go and check it out over there. I'm not going to explain and make this call a little longer, but thank you for sticking out in. And if you have any topic in the mind that you want to discuss for the next week, please feel free to DM me or ping me about the topic, and we'll make sure that we'll have that in the point of the discussion. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Have a great weekend, and thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.